Hi, welcome. Thanks for joining. Today's fly is one of my duo flies. How it came about was many years ago. I went to Canada for a holiday to Kamloops area of Canada, and I took part in the Canadian Fly Fishing Championships. So I did a bit of research before I went, and I was finding out what the guys were using over there. And they're only allowed to use one fly on the lakes over there, and they were using indicators quite a bit as well. So I seen they were using balance flies a lot and having a lot of success. So when I came back, I tied this type of fly up for my own use, and to be fair, it's been great. I've had a lot of success over the years with it. But rather than tie just balance flies, what I wanted to do was incorporate patterns that I catch on when I'm straight lining, and that'll catch under the indicator. So there was no point in just tying for one method. So this is where the duo flies came about. So the one I'm going to tie today is ruby-eyed damsel. So I'll explain as we go along. The pattern has two tie-in points, one at the front, which is obviously on this one, and it has a jig hook with another tie-in point. So this one is the front end is when you use it a straight lining, figure of eight and pulling, etc. And when you see the jig hook, that's the one that you use when you're using the balance part of the fly under the indicator. And that part of it makes the fly lie naturally in the water and swims naturally in a horizontal position. That's why you get the best of both worlds with the duo flies. So we'll get on and tie it. So I've got a hook in the vise at the minute. It's not a particular hook, it's one of our old sea fishing hooks. You can use any hook that's got a flat eye and a fairly decent shank. We're only using the shank and the eye part of this hook. The main hook is the jig hook, which I'll explain as we go. So we'll start tying the front end of the fly. Now, with it being a damsel, I'm using olive thread, 7580 in olive. So I'm just going to put it, tie it on to the front. So we'll give ourselves a bit of base to tie onto. Now, the eyes I'm going to use, which creates the weight for the balance bit as well, is red metal chain eyes. Now these are about 2.5 mil. Obviously we need two of these, so I've chopped a bit off using the cutters, pliers, and I've got the two little eyes in my fingers. I'll put them on. You don't want to be too close to the eye because I've got to create a head at the end, so keep it a few millimeters away. So we'll tie it on. We'll figure of eight the eyes on. Like I say, we're just using this part as the front end of the fly. So we'll figure of eight those over the top. Now we'll tie that off. So we'll make sure that the eyes are parallel with the front bit before we put some super glue on for security. So we'll put it, dab of super glue on underneath. Keep these in position, and on the top in the middle. There you go. Now obviously if you're doing several of the flies, it pays to do this step, you know, get all this done and put them to one side to dry. So we'll stick that away to dry. Now the hook I'm going to put in for the body of the fly, the other part of the fly, is a size 14 jig hook. That's it there, size 14 jig hook. Again, we're going to use the olive thread, same thread, so we'll tie onto this one. Just go down, we're just creating a base here, so back up again. Now hook with the eyes on it, we're only going to use part of the shank on here, so we'll cut that off using the pliers. Be careful not to get the cut off hook bit flying around the place, otherwise it's pretty dangerous. So we'll cut that off, and now we've got that bit left. So what we're going to do is tie this onto the top of the shank of the jig hook. Now this is what creates the balance part of the fly, so I'm going to temporarily tie that on there on the top, because we're going to check the actual balancing bit of it. We may have to pull the eyes forward or push them in to get the jig hook balanced. That's the part that you need to sort out before you start putting your materials on. So we'll put a couple of half inches in there, cut that off. Now we'll take a bit of monofilament or fluorocarbon or wire, whatever you want to do, and we'll put it through the jig hook eye. This is where we're going to test to see if the carcass lies balanced. So we'll take that out. So there you go. So you basically move the bit with the eyes on back and forward till you get the balance in the horizontal position, and then you start clamping down tight. So there we go. We'll put that back in the vise. And then we tie on again with my thread, this time making sure everything is cinched down really well. Make sure it's on the top. So cinch it down on the top. Be careful when you get to the end of where the cut bit is, because it's easy enough to snap your thread off. And then just get to this stage here, put a half inch in there. And what we're going to do now is put some super glue on the main body to make sure everything's very secure. So we'll super glue that so it doesn't move position at all. Both sides, on the top, and again on the eyes. So that will steepen that thread, and that body will basically go nowhere. Now the tail of the fly is, because it's a Damsel, is olive, marabou. This is a medium olive. So we'll get a feather, and we'll take about down one side about 1.5 inches, 2 inches. We'll just tear it down the stem, tear it away from the stem all the way down to the bottom on one side, and then it'll leave you with raggy ends where you've torn it off the stem. So we're going to cut those off, put them in the bin, and then what we'll do is pull all the fluff away. We don't want any of that fluff in there. Let's stick that in the bin. And this, what it does, it gets rid of the bulk as well. Just leaves the stems. So I'll tie that onto the body. That's super glue soaked in there now. So we'll tie that in. Go along the body. Underneath. And a couple of times. There's your body tied in. Now we've got a fair bit of tail on there. We don't want all of that, so we'll just keep the nice bit. We'll nip the ends off. That's it. And that'll go nice and slim when it gets wet. Now, for the body, along the body of the fly, I'm going to use some of this UV. It's 75. Got different straggle on here. It's a fine straggle with UV in. Got all different colours. Now the one I'm going to use to match this, it's got the numbers, is green olive, which is number 6, which is this one here. So I'm going to take a length of this. It's nice and fine with a little bit of blue UV in. Nice straggle, nice body. So we'll tie that in. Come down to this end, tied in at the back, up towards the marabou, and then down towards the eyes. So we'll create our body. Wrapping it round. Towards the eye. Tie it off behind the eye. And snip the straggle. Now what we're going to do now is create a double loop, small double loop behind the eyes, a couple of times around, back over and then round at the front. We'll put our little weight into the tool, and then we're going to use a bit of dark olive to cover the eyes, make the head. Don't need loads, just make it elongated, so I can just put it into the double loop, open the loop up, stick it in, and then spin it. So we'll spin my loop nice and tight. And then we'll go behind the eyes, and then over the front, and then over again and around the front. We'll take our thread over the top, cut that double loop off, brush this back, and then we'll just create a head. Tie that off. got any little stragglers off the front, just cut them off. Also where the tie-in point's going to be for your balanced one as well, cut around there, because that's where your balanced one ties onto here, and your standard straight line goes onto there. So keep the eyes clear. When it gets wet, this is the sort of shape you're going to have. So yeah, it's going to look more like that when it gets wet. So there it is, duo. So you can use it straight lined or under the indicator, depending on where you tie it. For the front for straight line, and then on the top, and it's like that for under the indicator. If you like that, please hit the like and subscribe button. Check out my other flies and fishing videos. Please subscribe, it's free, it makes a big difference to the channel. Thanks very much.